So, what if you could build an incredibly powerful automated lead management system for your team and do it all for free? Seriously, no expensive software, no complicated contracts. Today, we're going to dive into exactly how you can build a custom CRM using just Google Sheets, Forms, and a little bit of automation magic. Let's get into it. You know this feeling, right? That pit in your stomach when you know a fantastic opportunity just slipped right through your fingers. Maybe you were too slow, maybe things got disorganized, and your competitor got there first. It's honestly one of the most frustrating parts of sales, and it's a problem that costs businesses an absolute fortune. Okay, now get ready for this number. A study found that if you contact a lead within the first 5 minutes, you are, get this, 21 times more likely to convert them. Not 2 times, not 5, 21. If there's one statistic that proves the insane importance of speed in sales, it's that one. And listen, the system we're exploring today wasn't just cooked up in a lab. It was born from pure, real-world frustration. Picture a sales manager whose team was literally drowning. They had tons of leads coming in, but their process was so chaotic, they were just bleeding deals. This is the story of how they fixed it. So, before we can even talk about the solution, we have to get real about the problem. Why do these manual systems, these messy spreadsheets, always seem to fall apart when things get busy? Well, it usually boils down to a few critical, fatal flaws. Here they are. You could almost call them the 5 horsemen of the sales apocalypse. You've got slow responses, leads falling through the cracks, treating a hot lead the same as a cold one, managers who are basically flying blind, and of course, critical data scattered across a dozen emails and sticky notes. Now, each one of these is bad on its own, but that first one, that's the real killer. This chart just says it all, doesn't it? The reality of their manual process was an average response time of 40 minutes. 40! When we know that golden window is under 5 minutes, that's an eternity. In that time, your prospect has already checked their email, grabbed a coffee, and probably heard back from 3 of your competitors. And the data backs this up completely. The Harvard Business Review found that just responding within an hour makes you 7 times more likely to even qualify a lead. At 40 minutes, this team was barely making the cut, and they were completely missing out on that massive advantage that a true 5-minute response gives you. And this wasn't just a theoretical problem. This was the moment everything broke. In 1 week, they calculated that they had lost 28% of their entire sales pipeline. Not to a better product, not to a savvy competitor, but because their own internal process just collapsed. That's when they knew something had to change, and fast. So, how did they fix it? Well, this wasn't about just finding some new app to buy. It was about a total shift in thinking. Before they wrote a single line of code or a single formula, they came up with a simple but really powerful design philosophy to guide the whole thing. And here are those principles. It's so simple, it's brilliant. First, automate everything that a human doesn't absolutely have to do. Free up your reps to actually sell. Second, default to action. The system's first instinct should always be to move the lead forward. And third, and this is a big one, keep it simple, because a complicated system is a system that nobody uses. And the engine behind this whole transformation, it's made of tools you've probably already used every single day. Google Forms is the front door for new leads. Google Sheets becomes your command center, your single source of truth. Google Apps Script is the brain, the logic that runs all the automation. And then you have the Gmail API and Slack handling all the instant notifications. It's powerful, it's integrated, and it's completely free. Okay, so we've covered the why. Now for the really fun part, the how. What does a lead's journey actually look like inside this new automated world? Forget minutes and hours. We're talking about a process that happens in a matter of seconds. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's amazing. At time 0, a prospect hits submit on a Google form. Literally 2 seconds later, an app script trigger fires and automatically calculates that lead score. 2 seconds after that, the script has already assigned it to the best available rep. And by the 7-second mark, that rep's phone is buzzing with a Slack notification with all the details. So you might be wondering, how does the system know which leads to prioritize? Well, this is the secret sauce right here, the lead scoring engine. It's really just a simple function written in Google Apps Script that runs every single time a new lead comes in. It looks at things like lead source, company size, and applies a few if-then rules to instantly spit out a value score, flagging the really hot ones for immediate action. And here's a perfect example of that logic in action. The script sees the lead came from a referral, bam, 30 points. It's a big company, add another 40 points. And they said their urgency is high, that's another 30 points. Total score, a perfect 100. This lead doesn't just get added to some list. No, the system triggers an urgent, high-priority alert straight to the best rep on the team.
And the system doesn't just assign the lead, it delivers it right to them. An email with every single detail hits the rep's inbox, and at the same time, a real-time Slack alert, especially for those perfect score leads, makes sure it is absolutely impossible to miss. The information goes to the rep wherever they are instantly.
So this all sounds pretty great in theory, right? But what was the actual real-world impact? Let's look at the hard numbers, because honestly, the transformation was nothing short of stunning. We're going to put the old, chaotic manual system right up against the new automated machine. And we're not talking about small, incremental improvements here. This was a complete and total overhaul of performance across every metric that matters. First up, speed. The average response time absolutely plummeted from 40 minutes down to just 5. That is an 87.5% reduction. Remember that 21x advantage for responding in the first 5 minutes? Yeah, they were now consistently capturing that advantage with every single lead that came in. And what does that kind of speed get you? How about a 35% relative increase in the lead conversion rate? They were closing over a third more deals from the exact same number of leads. Just think about that for a second. That's more revenue with zero additional marketing spend. And what about those leads that used to just fall through the cracks? That whole problem was completely eliminated. Automated reminders run by a script every single day checked for leads that hadn't been updated and made sure every single one got the follow-up it deserved. Absolutely no lead left behind. You know, these incredible results lead us to one final, really crucial idea. The choice isn't just between a super expensive CRM and a broken manual process. There's a third option, one that's accessible, powerful, and ultimately way more empowering. We often think the biggest expense of a CRM is a software license. But the real cost, the true cost, is a system that's so complex or so poorly designed for your team that nobody actually uses it. So I'll just leave you with this question. What if the perfect CRM for your team isn't one you go out and buy, but one you build yourself for free?